Aikwe, Neknamalita. Oh my goodness, this is still happening. Okay. And this is my channel, The Midnight Librarian. Today I will be trying to come to you in focus. Okay. I'll be talking about my October TBR. I don't know why. The last couple months I've been pushing off my Pokemon cards to choose my TBR because of readathons, but for some reason for the month of October I want to do both. Whether it's because I just don't want to push my Pokemon cards to choose my TBR off any longer because I actually really do want to do it, or for some reason the Hocus Pocus readathon seems like it's going to be easier to match prompts up with them. I'm not entirely sure. I also think it's possibly due to the fact that I'm not sure what all I want to read right now, and somehow that makes it easier to do both the readathon and Pokemon cards choose my TBR. Who knows? I have no idea. So if you don't know, for a while there I was trying to do Pokemon cards choose my TBR. Basically I got a bunch of these little packs actually from my brother for my birthday back in June, and I opened these packs. Each Pokemon has its own prompt. Not each Pokemon, sorry, each Pokemon type has its own prompt. I do have an update for that because I did update my prompt list. I've updated four of the prompts. So for each type of Pokemon there is a reading prompt, and so whenever I pull that, these cards are like maybe completely random. I'll leave the original video down in the description down below, as well as up in the cards, because that explains for the most part what all the prompts are. I've only changed 4, so I'm only going to go through the 4 that I've changed. And the first is Grass. So Grass was originally a book that feels summery or is set in the summer. Now that at the end of September, it's fall. So I don't really want to read any, and I don't think I have necessarily any. So I'm going to switch Grass to a book with flora on the cover. Basically all this means is that it has to have some kind of plant on the cover of any sort. So the next is Fighting. Originally I had a dual perspective. This was really hard if I didn't know what the book was about, which I often don't. Yes, I read the synopsis before getting into a book, but like when I pick it up to actually read it, I don't tend to reread the synopsis before getting into it. So that was kind of hard to figure out. So instead I have Fighting as a second chance author. This doesn't necessarily have to be an author that I've read from before and didn't like their book. It's just I'm trying out another book from them that I've only read one of them before, if that makes sense. So like Becky Chambers, I just finished their the Wayfarer series, and would have been considering picking up their new series. So that would be a second chance author, despite that I gave Wayfarers an overall 4 stars. Like I don't have to have hated their or not enjoyed their first whatever I read from them first. Ground was originally a book set on Earth or about Earth, and I've changed that to a book set on a different country, continent, or a planet. And then my last one was Bug, and that is a book that you've been avoiding. I would really rather not. I am a mood reader and I really try to avoid. I would really rather not be forced to read a book that I've been avoiding. I'm just not in the mood for it. So if I'm not in the mood for it, I'm not going to force myself to read it. Otherwise I'll get into a reading slump. So there's that. So for Bug instead, it is Sci-Fi. Just because bugs can be otherworldly, I feel like. I think each one is very individualistic and unique, and I feel like, I don't know why, but sci-fi is what I'm going with for that. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and open my TBR or my Pokemon cards and see what's all available to me through Pokemon. What the Pokemons choose, what the deck chooses. Hold on. Let me, okay, so the Hocus Pocus readathon, where'd that go? The Hocus Pocus readathon has 3 teams. It's Team Sanderson Sister, Team Trick-or-Treaters, and Team Undead. I'm just going to go ahead and pick a team now without looking at the prompts. I vaguely looked at them earlier, but I think I'm just gonna go for it. Each team has their own prompts. There's also a group book this year. I've already read the group book, but it may give me an inkling. It's the first book in a series, and I have the latest one, so I may possibly try to squeeze that in, but we'll see. Okay, I'm gonna choose Team Undead without looking at the prompts. So now I will see what's in my Pokemon deck, what's available to me here. After I see the prompts, we'll view the prompts, pick the books along the way, and then afterwards see the prompts of the Undead team for Hocus Pocus Readathon, and see if I can put any of the books that I chose for this and double up for that. If not, I'll have to pick more books. And I think in my mind that means it's possibly going to be over 11 books, which typically there's about 10 or 11 cards in one of these packages. So, and that's ultimately just more options for me to read because I don't adhere so much to my TBR that I try to read all the books. And I mean, the goal is to read all the books that I pick, but I mean, that doesn't necessarily, it hasn't happened. So, okay, we'll get rid of this top card and go for the first Pokemon. Okay, so this is Digging Gloves, a trainer card. So trainer cards are still the same in that they're a mood read. So I'm going to go ahead and put this aside for now since it's the first one. Just in case there's something that I'm particularly thinking of that I want to read for October and am not able to fit it on the TBR. So I'm going to put that aside. So next one. Palpitoad. So this is a fighting Pokemon. Actually, I think this is my first fighting, so I'm glad I switched that prompt. So it's a second chance author. So for Palpitoad, I am, which is a fighting Pokemon, which is a second chance author, I'm going to pick up Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey. I have read Sarah Gailey before. I read their YA, When We Were Magic, which was like this witchy-esque book that I enjoyed the writing style, but didn't so much enjoy the content, or like didn't necessarily enjoy that particular story. This one is a horror where the daughter, Vera, I think her name is. Yes, Vera's mother has called her, and Vera has obeyed in spite of their long estrangement, in spite of the memories. She's come back to the home of a serial killer, back to face the love she had for her father and the bodies he buried there. Coming home was hard enough, and to make things worse, she and her mother aren't alone. A parasitic artist has moved into the guest house out back and is slowly stripping Vera's childhood for spare parts. He insists that he isn't the one leaving notes around the house in her father's handwriting, but who else could it possibly be? So I'm fairly curious about this. I'm interested to know about Sarah Gailey's other works. I did put another one of their books on my September TBR, but I don't think as of this moment, it's like the 22nd, so I have like a week and a half maybe. No, I have like a week. And I don't think I'm going to get to it. So I'm going to put Sarah Gailey on my TBR again. Maybe this one will be one I'll hopefully pick up. So there's that for Palpitoad. Next is another mood read. So once again, I'm going to put it aside for right now. This is the Treasure Energy card. It's not helping me choose. Next. So we have an energy card, specifically a dark energy card. And actually I have a book right here that is perfect for this color. So for energy cards, I choose a book with this main color on the cover. And for this, I think this fits fairly well, even down to the ombre. I'm going to choose Daisy Darker. by Alice Feeney. This was my August pick for the Book of the Month Club, or for Book of the Month, and this is my first Alice Feeney. So I've heard good things. Hopefully this is an alright one to start out with Alice Feeney. I've heard good things about Rock, Paper, Scissors, but I kind of want to get started with this. This one, I think it's a retelling of something, but I didn't read it, so who knows. After years of avoiding one another, Daisy Darker's entire family is assembling for Nana's 80th birthday party in Nana's crumbling Gothic house on a tiny tidal island. They are finally back together one last time, and when the tide comes in, they'll be cut off from the rest of the world for 8 hours. The family arrives, each of them harboring secrets. Then at the stroke of midnight, as a storm rages on, Nana is found dead. An hour later, the next family member follows. So that's all I'm going to read. That's all I want to read for now. I am fairly curious about this. I haven't heard the best things about it so far, but I'm still fairly curious just in general of Alice Feeney's writing. So I'm going to go with that. Next is a pincer, which is that's grass, right? Yeah, that's a leaf or grass. Okay. Yeah, so that is to read a book with flora on the cover, and for that I'm going to choose Maria and Other Stories by Maritza K. Rubio. I believe this is a collection of short stories conjuring entrancing tales of Mexican-American mystics and misfits. Maritza K. Rubio shatters the boundaries of reality with this fiercely imaginative debut. Set against the tropics and megacities of the Americas, Maria takes inspiration from wild creatures, tarot, and the porous borders between life and death. Motivated by love and its inverse grief, the characters who inhabit these stories negotiate boldly with nature to cast their desired ends. Once again, that's all I really want to know for this. It has, I don't remember the name of that house plant, but I think it's a fairly popular house plant on the cover. But it also has a skeleton, which I believe is, yeah, I don't know. There's like this fairly spooky quality to it. I actually just noticed the silhouettes of the dogs. So I think this, yeah, it looks like a good read for October, so that's what I'm choosing for pincer. Next, we have Elegant, which is the evolved form of Petilil, and it's a reverse holo. So we have a book that I need to have some kind of flora on, but it has to be a backlist book. That's essentially what I believe a reverse holo is. Let me double check and make sure. Yes, reverse holo is a backlist book. So and to me, backlist is anything beyond like 2022 release date. Okay, I think I figured it out. So for the reverse holo of Lilligant, I am going to read The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. I read What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher and actually really enjoyed the writing. So I've been, sorry if you can hear my dog, been interested in some of her backlist books. So this was published in 2020. It also has that beautiful tree on the cover as well as its roots above a very ominous looking body of water. Newly divorced and living back at home in rural North Carolina, Kara is helping out her ailing eccentric Uncle Earl at his house, which doubles as a tourist hotspot. The Glory of God Museum of Natural Wonders, Curiosities, and Taxidermy. While Kara is closing up one night, she discovers a mysterious hole in the drywall along with one of the museum's overstuffed hallways of oddities. An opening that impossibly leads Kara and her new friend Simon to a sprawling area that simply cannot be part of North Carolina's plane of existence. As they explore the apparently limitless depths of this bizarre and frightening new world, a hub containing portals to alternate realities, and bear witness to the cryptic warnings, they can hear you thinking and pray they are hungry. Kara and Simon soon realize there is far more danger here than first anticipated. So that sounds creepy as all hell. So yeah, that's such a dark looking cover comparatively to this card. So interesting. Okay. Next. So next we have Slackoff, which is a normal Pokemon, so that is a contemporary read. And for that, I am going to choose an arc that I got from the publisher. So thank you so much to Flatcheron Books, and I'm going to choose White Horse by Erica T. Worth. This comes out in November. Early copy. Some people are haunted in more ways than one. Old denim jackets, ripped jeans, Stephen King novels, and the occasional beer at the White Horse have defined urban Indian Kari James's life. But when her cousin Debbie finds an old bracelet that once belonged to Kari's mother, it inadvertently calls up both her mother's ghost and a monstrous entity, and her willful ignorance about her past is no longer sustainable. Fairly curious about this, so that's what I'm choosing for Slackoff. Next. That's an Emolga? I don't know if I've heard of that one before. So that's a lightning Pokemon, which I believe is a quick read. Electric. So yeah, a quick read. So a quick read doesn't necessarily mean a short read. So I think, but what I think I'm going to go ahead and do is pick this one up because it is also under 300 pages, which tends to be a little bit, I don't know. I'm just going to choose this one and hope it's a quick read. I read other of her books and they were really easy to get through and I really enjoyed them. But that is Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematory by Caitlin Dowdy. So I recently did a nonfiction recommendation video for the spooky season, and Caitlin Dowdy was one of my recommendations. But I have not read. So also sorry for the weird lighting. The fog is coming in and making a drastic difference at this point. But yeah, this is Caitlin Dowdy's first work. She's a YouTuber talking about her occupation as a mortician, specifically as a female mortician living in Los Angeles, and likes to normalize the talk of death and what you would or should do after or you're just making decisions for the bodies, I guess. I don't know. So that's what I'm going to read. Like I said, I enjoyed her other two books, so I'm interested to read her debut. Next. So this one is Carvanha. Yep, Carvanha, which is a water Pokemon, which I believe, sorry, it's been a little bit since I've done this, so I keep having to look at my prompts, is a book set in or around water. Man, Daisy Darker would have been perfect for this. I don't have any, I think I'm going to do a reread. So I can't grab the book, but I'm going to do a reread of, and I've been wanting to do it, particularly after not quite finishing Newsflash. Oops, sorry. So I've been wanting to do this as a reread for a bit. Just, I don't know. I just want to see. But that is the Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. This is a, or I might find the prequel for this. So we'll see which one. Those are my two options that I'm doing. So I've read Into the Drowning Deep before by Mira Grant. This is a like horror sci-fi mermaid book. Basically, there is a mockumentary being made by a production company. They're out over by the Mariana Trench, and everyone on the ship is gone when the Coast Guard ends up finding it. I don't know if it's necessarily the Coast Guard, but essentially we follow one of the victim's sisters, who is a marine biologist and ends up getting recruited to be on the next boat that is set to go out to the Mariana Trench to actually figure out what's going on. Not only is it her, but it's like a bunch of other people vying for this, because there was actually a video leaked of part of the mockumentary crew and what happened to them, and it's possible that is in fact mermaids out there that ended up killing these people. So this whole new crew is going out to figure out what actually is going on. Others are using it as a research opportunity for their own work. So yeah, didn't mind this when I first read it, and I actually kind of thought it was anticlimactic, but I still really enjoyed the writing. So I want to either reread it again to see if I still feel the same about it being anticlimactic, or read the prequel, which I forget the name of, which basically follows the first boat. So that's what I'm choosing for this. You tell I'm still in the horror mood. Next. We have another water Pokemon. We have Bergamite. So this works perfect for Carvana, which I think is very fitting actually with those teeth. I will reread Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, and then for Bergamite I will read the prequel to Into the Drowning Deep. So that's what I'm going to go with. And not including the trainer cards, this is my last one. Oh, that's a cute one. What is it? Oh, it's Nickit. That's a cute one. I like it. So, okay, so this is a dark Pokemon, which means horror. Which shouldn't be a problem. I think I'm going to go with this one, in all honesty. So this one, I believe Bear recommended it in one of their videos, who I'll link down below as well. But that is Hide and Seeker by Daka Herman. This cover is intense. But Justin knows that something is wrong with his best friend. Z went missing for a year, and when he came back, he was different. Nobody knows what happened to him. At Z's welcome home party, Justin and the neighborhood crew play hide and seek, but it goes wrong. Very wrong. One by one, everyone who plays the game disappears, pulled into a world of nightmares come to life. Justin and his friends realize this horrible place is where Z has been trapped. All they can do now is hide from the Seeker. So, gonna go with some middle grade horror to kind of lighten up the mood just a tad. So that's my choice for that. Should I choose my mood reads now? I think so. Okay, so for my first mood read for Trainer, I am going to go ahead and not put the group book for the Hocus Pocus Readathon, which is actually City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. This is another middle grade. I don't know if it's necessarily horror, but it's paranormal. Basically, we are following Cassidy Blake, who has a near-death experience and almost drowns, and because of that, she's able to see ghosts, what she calls and is also able to what she calls go beyond the veil. Her parents are a historian and something else, but basically they are hired to produce a TV docu-series on the most haunted places in the world. And in the first one, the City of Ghosts, they are actually in, is it Edinburgh? Is that the first one? Yes. So I think, yeah, in the first one it's Edinburgh. The second one, this Tunnel of Bones, is the Catacombs of Paris. And then in the one that I'm going to read is the latest one in the series, and that is Bridge of Souls, where I believe they're in New Orleans, Louisiana. So from what I understand, Victoria Schwab, like, I thought there was going to be more to this, but Victoria Schwab, this is it for the Cassidy Blake series for now. So there could possibly be more in the series later on. But instead of the group book, which is City of Ghosts, I'm going to go with Bridge of Souls. Because I've read the other two. And we'll see, ultimately just finish off the series for what it is currently. So that's my first mood read. Again, I apologize for my dog barking. My other mood read I'm going to go ahead and choose is for this treasure energy, I'm going to go ahead and choose The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. I think that's how you say it. I apologize if it's not. Okay, so it's Mexican Gothic meets Rebecca in this debut supernatural suspense novel set in the aftermath of the Mexican War of Independence about a remote house, a sinister haunting, and the woman pulled into their clutches. In the overthrow of the Mexican government, Beatrice's father is executed and her home destroyed when handsome Don Rudolfo Salorzano proposes, Beatrice ignores the rumors surrounding his first wife's sudden demise, choosing instead to seize the security his estate in the countryside provides. She will have her own home again, no matter the cost. But Hacienda San Isidro is not the sanctuary she imagined. That's all I know. That's all I want to know. I actually have a audiobook that I purchased through Lero FM. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do for the second mood read. Little bit of balance of audio and physical, though the physical is quite daunting right now. Okay, so those are my Pokemon cards. Let's go ahead and take a look at my Hocus Pocus readathon prompts for Team Undead and see if I can't combine some. Okay, so Team Undead, the first prompt is, while the undead doesn't sleep, neither can you. Complete a 24-hour readathon and try to read as much as possible in 24 hours. So that sounds like a vlog opportunity. Is this still blurry? I apologize if it is. Prompt 2. The undead are here. Read a book that has to do with the dead, zombies, ghosts, etc. Perfect. So the Bridge of Souls will do perfect for that, because actually not only can Cassidy Lake see ghosts, but one of her best friends is a ghost. So that works perfect. 3. Binks is trying to stop anyone from lighting the black flame candle to bring back the witches. Read a witchy book about magical characters. I mean, technically, wouldn't the Bridge of Souls work for that too? Because I actually don't have that many books on witches or featuring witches. But I believe that this one has to... There we go. Yep. So, just in case, I'm also going to put this one on for the witch... read a book about witch or featuring witches or magical elements, and that's going to be A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. This was getting a lot of hype last year. I think just being talked about, though. I don't like in terms of everyone was excited about it. I think it was during the same time that Owlcrate had issues, and I think a lot of people stopped following him for that and was really trying to promote A Lesson in Vengeance due to that. And I haven't heard the best. The reviews that I have heard haven't been the best, but I'm still curious about it, mostly because that cover is freaking gorgeous. So Felicity Morrow is back at the Dalloway School, perched in the Catskill Mountains. The centuries-old ivy-covered campus was home until the tragic death of her girlfriend. Now, after a year away, she's returned to finish high school. She even has her old room in Godwin House, the exclusive dormitory rumored to be haunted by the spirits of the 5 Dalloway students. Girls, some say, were witches. The Dalloway 5 all died mysteriously, one after another, right on Goodwin grounds. Witchcraft is woven into Dalloway's past. I think this will be perfect for that, so let's go with that. Prompt 4. Winnie brings Billy back from the dead. Read a book where someone is given a second chance. No. This is why I switched the prompt. I guess we'll find out if any of my books have that prompt at all. Because I don't know offhand. 5. Binks is torn up about what happened to his little sister, Emily. Read a book that has to do with a sibling relationship. Again, I'm not sure on this. I'm sure that Daisy Darker could possibly count, and possibly even White Horse. I don't think there is a sibling dynamic in White Horse. But I think what I will go ahead and do is, I haven't completed the series quite yet. I'm still a little confused because I think there's a 5th book that isn't said to be a 5th book, but it follows Georgia Mason and Sean Mason after all the events that happened within the 4 books. But there's also a couple novellas, which I believe are in this bind up. I'm not sure about the 5th book. I'll have to look because I don't think there's a 5th book available through Lero, and that's mainly, yeah, that's basically what I've been consuming this as, is through through audiobooks through Libro. So I'll look in here. I'm pretty sure this can fulfill this prompt, hopefully, because the fourth one had nothing to do with Georgia or Sean Mason. We'll see. Hopefully this works. Prompt 6. It has been a long time since we last saw the Sanderson sisters. Read a book set in or near Salem, Massachusetts. Where's Daisy Darker say? I think that's as close as I'm gonna get. It's just on an island. I don't know where this island is, but I would, for some reason, I'm assuming it's on the East Coast. I don't know why, but that's what I'm going with. I really don't know. So, wait, White Horse is based in South Carolina, right? I'm just gonna double up on whatever is the closest, and let you know at the end to see, like, I don't know which one of these books would be set closer, because even in Newsflash, I mean, they travel all over, but they're mostly on the West Coast. For some reason, Daisy Darker is giving me East Coast vibes. I'm not entirely sure why. That's just how I feel. Bridge of Souls is in New Orleans. I don't know where Hide and Seek is based. White Horse is in South Carolina. I don't know where any of these are based. So that's going to be difficult. But I'll figure it out. And then prompt 7 is to watch the movie. Watch Hocus Pocus or Hocus Pocus 2. I'm not entirely sure I'm wholly convinced to watch Hocus Pocus 2. I am vaguely curious, kind of. I think I saw a teaser trailer. I just don't know how to feel about Bette Midler or Sarah Jessica Parker, in all honesty. I really don't mind Hocus Pocus, but I also feel like it's a bit overrated. The same could be said for Nightmare Before Christmas, and I wholeheartedly agree. But, you know, I just don't know. I feel like this is a Disney money grab. Obviously. But, I don't know, I wasn't really convinced with the teaser trailer, and then when I saw the full trailer, like, I'm a little more curious just because I am curious about the Sanderson sister. Like, I saw that there was some, like, childhood elements that could be interesting, but I don't know about it being set in today's standard. Like, I saw that teaser where Mary was riding on what are they called? The electric vacuums. I don't know. The name escapes me. I'm sorry. It's my Friday. It's like my Friday. It's the end of the day. My brain is mush. So that is it for my TBR. This is a huge stack. We'll see how much I can actually get to. And in all honesty, this is the second time I'm filming this. And I got, for the most part, like half the books I got on my first one. But Hocus Pocus Readathon hadn't been announced yet, and I totally spaced on it, so when it was announced, I had to jump on it. So, oh my goodness, that is my pile for October. I think it's a good one. It's a very mixed bag of horror. I always feel like I'm saying horror anytime I say horror. But yeah, I think we got like a bit of a mixed bag, which I'm kind of excited about. I have also been feeling some nonfiction lately, so I'm glad I got Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. I knew I was going to try to fit on that somehow, and I'm sure I'll end up having to read some kind of book for school, so we'll see how that fits in. So yeah, that's it for my TBR. If you made it this far, thank you for sticking around. I apologize for all the interruptions, light change, dog barking, but if you made it this far, let's put some kind of plant as the emoji. Any kind of plant, your favorite emoji plant. Let's go with that. Otherwise, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you have yet to do so, and I will see you in the next video very soon. Chew.